Look, I've literally spent my whole life here. Central London, a stone throw away. The River Thames, iconic bridges, great transport links. I can literally get anywhere in London in like 45 minutes. I mean, we even have Uber boats. Uber boats. Some of the most influential people in history lived here. These same streets I've been walking most of my life. And yeah, I get the typical answer when I say I live here, the same shocked expression and backhanded comments. But there's another side to here that nobody talks about, the hidden side, the forgotten side. This is my side of Chelsea. King's Road. Okay, this is a side you guys all know. Made in Chelsea and all of that. Kensington and Chelsea is the richest local authority area in the UK, with residents earning 3 times the national average. According to new analysis of government data, income in the borough, home to Sir Elton John and the Beckhams, is 64,868. And that's per head of the population, in comparison to 19,514. Yeah, that's us poor people. Bet you can't believe that. That's where the wide eyes and the comments "must be nice" come from. King's Road, the main high street, littered with high-end retail bars and restaurants with the odd club thrown in, where some of the wealthiest in London come to flex their finances. Well, their wives do anyway. In the summer, streets are heaving and a shop front's designed in the most wonderful flowers to celebrate the Chelsea Flower Show. And at Christmas, it's pretty much the same, with each shop showing their most lavish design for the festive period. I am sat here today with a local resident who has lived in Chelsea for the last 24 years.
So, King's Road, what can I say? It was more accessible for people on the mediocre income, even though it was King's Road, because you had Bay Trade Inn, where I used to buy all my raving clothes.
Yeah.
You had Shelley's shoe store, and then the biggest thing that ever happened was when McDonald's opened on King's Road, and we were really excited. We used to, do you remember did you ever go to McDonald's when the boys from the estate would go as well?
No.
It just seemed a bit more accessible. I don't know, because I've been on King's Road recently and I don't recognise hardly any of those stores, and they're not stores that I would go to.
Yeah. That's
just me. I'd probably go to somewhere that had cheaper clothing or cheaper, more affordable stores. King's Road just looks really boutique. The one thing that stands out on there is the Chelsea Town Hall. That's where that's where everyone would stop and watch the bride and groom
come out.
Yeah, and sort of expose themselves. And you always
Did you go swimming there?
I did. You don't call it. I won't call it swimming. Call it holding onto the side while you lot would swim. But it was cheap. It was cheap.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Even on the King's Road?
Yeah. It just seemed a bit more, it seemed like very boho. It was a place where you would walk down and you feel like there's a few stores I could go in and actually buy something.
To World's End, built in the 1970s, completed in the 1980s.
I was in Blantyre Tower. I think I might have been like 1 when I moved in there from Earls Court. And I've always found the World's End quite a funny, the flats quite funny because they're such an awkward shape.
Fashionable Chelsea now has another chic development. The Pheasantry, until the 60s a well-known night spot, has been converted into shops, offices, flats and a restaurant. It was opened today by Michael Heseltine, who admitted to fond memories of the old nightclub himself. The demonstrators came from the World's End Council estate further down the King's Road. They wanted the Environment Secretary to visit their flats. They claim government policy will make the estate the most expensive in Britain after a 22% rent rise in April. They say some tenants will have to find £85 a week for a 3-bedroom flat.
When we moved into the estate 7 years ago, the rent was £13 a week, and we were worried then about whether we'd be able to pay £13 a week, because it never occurred to us that eventually we'd be paying 75 or 85 now.
Meanwhile, inside, the party was in full swing. Michael Heseltine admitted he'd never opened an office bar before. That ceremony is now behind him, but the problem of council tax rents still remains. Roger Parry in Chelsea, Thames News.
There's no shape to describe what each of these rooms are shaped as. They're just weird, like dodecahedron, if you can call it that. But I do not regret growing up on the estate.
Yeah.
I think we had the best time. I think our years were probably the best years
Yeah.
to be on this estate.
Yeah.
Like literally we played out the diversity of everyone that lived there. Like there was no, we saw past colour back then.
Yeah.
And we all played out, and I don't even know how we managed to organise ourselves, but we all managed to meet up,
Yeah.
you know, and play out. We had Flashpoint, we had the boys club, we had Sid's club, and it was really for the community. It was very community based, the World's End. They would organise, do you remember when they'd organise those beach trips?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was good. You never felt poor.
No.
Growing up on the World's End, I never felt that.
Did you ever think though, like, you know, when you look at the houses now, do you ever remember like growing up and looking around and going, oh, big houses, and then you come back
Never
to the
really
estate?
bothered me. No,
No.
it never did.
Oh,
But the
it's
joke
quite
thing is
strange.
that if anyone would ask you where you're from and you said Chelsea,
Yeah.
they would automatically
Think that
World's
you were,
End.
yeah.
So maybe
Yeah.
everyone else saw that, but we never really noticed it.
Well, I remember actually meeting someone and I said, yeah, I live in Chelsea. And he was like, oh, And I was like, yeah, Chelsea, well, it's a nice area. And he was like, yeah, until you get to that big, brown, ugly building. And I was like, yeah, I
That's
live
where
there.
lived. But we played. We had there were so
Yeah.
many adventures that we had on the World's End, like run-outs, knockdown
Yeah.
ginger. You had the odds like crazy person on there, as you do. There's always like one or two walking around like inappropriately dressed.
Do you ever remember, were you there at the time there was someone that got stabbed when I was little? It was a Moroccan guy.
No.
He was, I was along the first floor. I was with someone older and we were going from one party to another, or we had to go to someone else's house to pick up something for the party, and en route I remember the guy just slumped on the thing and they were trying to like get him up and sort him out. No?
Flipping hell. I was too busy carrying like the little Jesus around. The Filipinos are like carrying Jesus and bringing him
Santa
to,
Niño.
and carrying him to the next Filipino person's house. And I was always made to hold the little Jesus. And,
Oh, did you have to hold it?
yeah, they'd make me hold the Jesus. I didn't feel strange then, but no, it was wicked.
Yeah.
I loved it. But I probably wouldn't recognise it so much now.
No. And there's no community here.
No.
There isn't. I don't even know half the people that are here.
No, and they don't have the same ethics and
No.
like, because everyone kind of like defended everyone and we all
Yeah.
supported everyone.
Yeah.
And I found that like living on an estate, it is what you made it.
Yeah.
Like if you choose to like air your dirty laundry out,
Yeah.
and then you know everyone will know your business.
Yeah.
But my family, it was never like that. We
Yeah.
lived quite peacefully.